My name's Eric Welander and welcome to Windy Tech, a channel all about smart home tech in the Apple ecosystem. Today we're going to talk about how to set up a wall-mounted iPad as a convenient, premium-looking smart home control of the future. And it's a whole lot easier than you might think. I've seen a trend on Reddit and elsewhere on the internet of people showing off their beautiful wall-mounted iPad setups. And a number of you viewers have also written me to share your wall-mounted iPads and how much you love them as a way to control your smart home. I totally get the concept. And when I upgraded myself to the new iPad Pro this past fall, I had a 9.7-inch iPad Pro that I wasn't using anymore. And I decided I wasn't going to sell it, but I wanted to put it to good use around the home. Seeing all these setups, I thought that could work well, but I didn't want to have to spend a bunch of money on a wall mount, and I also didn't want to have to cut a big hole in my wall or bother with running cable if I didn't need to. So that led me to the Elago Home Hub wall mount, and this is from the same company that made those Apple Watch stands that went viral a little while ago, where you put your Apple Watch in it and it makes it look like an old Macintosh or others. They have other versions of it now too, but that company, they make a lot of Apple accessories with this sort of rubbery silicone, and this is the same thing. It's just two pieces of rubber that sort of look like rubber bars, and they hold your iPad in place on the wall. And the beauty of it is it's only $20 for the mount, so it's a lot cheaper than even some of the cheaper metal iPad wall mounts, which I was seeing on Amazon and other places for like $40, $45, $50. And if you think about it, Apple's entry-level iPad is around $300 US right now, and you could probably even pick various iPads up in the used market for even less, especially Apple's refurbished store. So combine that with a $20 mount, and you're looking at something that's a lot less expensive than a $350 HomePod, and also something that's pretty easy to set up. All you're doing is putting holes in your wall with screws. So you could probably even do this in an apartment where you're allowed to hang pictures on the wall. So in the box, you get, of course, the two pieces of rubber to put your iPad on the wall, along with the screws that fit in the various holes. And then you also get a really helpful pattern to show you where to put those holes on the wall, depending on the type of iPad you have. Because this is one of those things where it's kind of pressing the iPad in on either side, so you really want to make sure that you get those holes exactly where it tells you to. Otherwise, you might not get as tight of a hole, and that wouldn't be as good. It also comes with this little circle thing that you can run your power cable through, depending on your setup, if you wanted that to help manage the cable and help it look nice. The two big downsides that I want to note about this too is that you have to put your iPad in landscape, and also the holes that you have to put in your wall I think are kind of big for what you're hanging on the wall, and there's 3 1/4-inch holes on either rubber mount, which just seems like a lot to me, but I went with it and everything works fine. I guess in retrospect, having done it, you could probably get away with 2 on either mount depending on what you're looking to do. So installation is really straightforward and doesn't take a lot of time. You just attach the pattern up to the wall, and then note which colored lines you want to focus on depending on the type of iPad you're hanging. Drill the holes in the wall, then take the pattern down, put the little screw lining plastic things into the wall, and then attach the rubber mounts to the wall with the screws. From there, you can just slide your iPad in on the side and run the power cable to it. There's also a little bit of a gap between the iPad and the wall, which make it nice if you want to tuck cables into a utility box or actually run cable to it. You can almost get that seamless look of just the iPad, with no cables running to it from the bottom. You will still see the lightning cable on one side, which, if you really want to get rid of that, then you're probably looking at some of those metal box wall mounts or fancier wall mounts. So many of your non-technical friends will probably ask you, and maybe you're wondering this too, why on earth would you want to screw an iPad to your wall? There's so many other ways you can use an iPad. Why? And I think there are a few really compelling reasons that I've found already in just using it it for a few short days. One, of course, is to have a walk-up, always-on control for your smart home tech. I use HomeKit a lot, so I have that, but I also have the Nest app installed in there. So if I wanted to quickly take a look at my Nest cams, like my doorbell or anything else, I can totally do that as well. It can also be really great to control music in your home. I use Sonos, so the Sonos app is often running side by side with the HomeKit app in my configuration. I use the iPad multitasking for that, but you know, it could also just be Apple Music or Spotify, and you could use AirPlay 2 or even just a normal audio cable, any kind of way to control music. To have that always on light up touch control that talks to your favorite smart home music services is really nice. You could do the same thing with podcasts. I don't see why you wouldn't, you know, be able to do Overcast or Apple Podcasts or other ways to get podcasts on there as well. And again, it's an iPad on your wall, so the sky's the limit. You could use it with FaceTime or YouTube or Netflix or any of the above, depending on what you want in your setup and where you want to hang it. The other big thing I think I've talked about in the past that I really don't like how difficult it is to get Siri into more rooms in your home. To buy more HomePods is really expensive, and so this is another always-on speaker. You can turn on, you know, the Hey Siri functionality on it, and it will then be able to talk to you, and then you'll
like it louder or softer?
Be quiet.
Okay, I changed it.
Thanks a lot. So the last big thing you want to think about, and there's no real right answer here, is how you want to set up the iPad. So do you want to have it signed into one of your family members' existing iCloud accounts, or do you want to create a new iCloud account for it? I would recommend, if you're willing to put in the time, to do the latter, and then you can add it to your HomeKit home. You can add it, you know, you could sign into a different Apple ID, I think, with FaceTime as well if you wanted to, but you know, you could also use Touch ID or a passcode depending on the features on that iPad. Personally, I don't have a passcode on mine, and I turned auto lock off, so it's just a screen that's always on my wall. I know that'll limit the life of the iPad, but I'm fine with it, and I think it's really nice to just have it always there. But I guess just realize that you're gonna need to spend a little bit of time setting up this iPad on the software side as well to make sure it's everything you want it to be. I have tremendous respect for those of you who've done just beautiful wall-mounted iPad setups and put in either the time or the money to make that happen. For me, I just wanted something simple and easy, and the Elago Home Hub wall mount was just what I wanted. So I've left a link in the description. Consider picking one up if it's something you're interested in. Let me know down in the comments below, have you set up a wall-mounted iPad? Do you think it's a crazy idea? Or maybe this video kind of got you interested. Subscribe to this channel if you aren't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really does help other people find these videos. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.